Garrosh and his flappy cheeks.
I don't need that stress in my life a second time.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Server Restart In. It's your weekly World of Warcraft podcast where three opinionated players get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim, joined by Kristen.
Hello.
And Brian.
Hello.
That was pretty good.
Was that good?
That was good. I'm impressed.
I always listen to it after when it's on like published, and I'm like, ew, gross. Why did I do that?
Why did I do that?
That's all right. Hot takes. We're not doing it again.
No.
Oh, and so there's been, I guess, 9-2s on the PTR. So there's maybe some stuff around that. And then
Maybe. What, are you kidding
Have
me?
you
There's
been on the
tons and
PTR?
I
tons
have
of
not been on the
spoilers.
PTR, but the
Did
first
you watch
appear
that
in live.
cinematic?
Well, yes, I actually did.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it. All right, let's get it. Let's get
Oh,
into
wow.
it. Yeah, I did. And it's actually not that much spoilery. So,
No, I think the bet. Well, yeah, go ahead and get into it.
So-
because
all right. So this was on the PTR. This was intentionally released by Blizzard on the PTR. This isn't a data mine cinematic or anything like that. Blizzard released this because I think it helps play into some information in the story as you go through the PTR. So it's intended to help not be just like a black box, like how some of them are, where it's like, cool cinematic here kind of thing. They're not keeping this one as close to their chest as like other ones that they have done. And after watching it, I can see how it's not as spoilery. Like, it may contain stuff, but only if you know the story up to that point and stuff that happens after. I don't think the cinematic itself is super spoilery, because they already forced the cinematic on us in Korthia that happened at the end of the raid, where she tries to shoot the jailer and he gives her soul back.
I didn't see that. Oh, wait, did I see that?
Yes, where he gets the sigil from. Yeah,
I don't remember.
you've seen it. It's the one where they like. She turns on the jailer because she doesn't like what he's doing, because he's just going to set up his own system, and she's like, no, it all needs to.
Oh, and he walks away with Arthas, right?
Yes.
Okay, he's
Right.
like, it's his equivalent of dropping
she
the
turns
mic.
on him.
Yeah,
She doesn't turn him on.
yeah, she turns on him.
I didn't say that.
And he gives her soul back and then
Oh,
drops.
I'm assuming a lot, huh?
He
Sorry.
gives her soul back and then drops the mic and then takes off with.
Yeah,
Arthas.
and Anduin drops his locket.
I mean, Anduin, Arthas. Anduin, Arthas 2.0.
Yeah. So this picks up with Sylvanas laid out basically unconscious on like a bed or something. She's, they got her locked up or whatever, but I mean, not like she's conscious to do anything. And Uther is there, and he's, got his hand over the wound from Frostmourne, and you get like a glimpse of her souls arguing with each other. So, like, the Ranger General, High Elf, Blood Elf, I guess they would have been High Elf at the time.
High Elf, yeah.
Her High Elf soul, which is all normal with blonde hair and all that stuff, and then her
Banshee.
the Banshee soul, and it's at the tree, and she's arguing. She's like, why'd you do this? All this stuff. So, like, they're arguing back and forth, and she can't come to terms with it. And he's like, her soul is fractured. I mean, because obviously, and he's like, the wound is deeper than the one I got. So he puts her hand onto his and goes in and talks to her, and it's like, look, that is you. You have to come to terms with it, blah, blah, blah. Like, they have like some like soul searching stuff, kind of explaining like, look, you can't change the past, but you can help prevent more things from happening and all that stuff. So she kind of like comes to terms with the fact that, yeah, she is responsible for that, even though it wasn't like that part of the soul.
I liked that she was yelling at herself, calling herself a murderer, and like
a
you know.
butcher and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Like that was.
I was actually confused. I thought,
It was that at the World Tree. Yeah.
The
I
other-
was
the
too
other
at
one?
first. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
No, I did too. Like I didn't realize it. I'm like, that doesn't look like
Yeah.
the other one. I'm like, that's weird looking. Like, why
well,
did they change it?
they like fattened their cheeks up or something, and it
Yeah.
looked the design,
Yeah.
design that they changed and stuff, which I love.
Well,
that threw me off.
yeah, it was. Well, it's to show, I guess, that she's not undead when she's living.
No,
she's
no, no.
gonna-
I mean, there's a design aesthetic overall they've updated in that
yeah,
that whole cinematic. Which is incredible.
Yeah, when
it's
she-
a long way from. I think they actually listened to our podcast where we talked about
They must have.
Garage and his flappy cheeks.
oh yeah, the garage cinematic though wasn't. I don't know. This one is more of a rendered one than the garage one was. The garage one, I
Yeah,
think,
that's
is
fair.
almost in-game assets versus this
Yeah,
one.
I mean, all the rest of them have been, haven't they? I mean, I don't think there has been one since. I don't know.
Since
Doesn't
you
matter.
left.
My point is like the whatever they're doing right now, I like it a lot. Actually.
Yeah. So yeah, but like in that opening scene in front of the tree, I thought it was similar. It
Yeah.
was meant to be similar to
Right.
the cinematic where she actually burns the tree and
Yeah.
she actually talks to the other night elf
Yeah.
and causes her to burn the tree, right? Because there's the night elf there that's yelling at her,
Right.
like, you can't kill Hope, and she goes, "Oh, I can't," and
Watch me.
burns the tree. So I think it's meant to kind of be,
Yeah. Yeah.
an homage to that scene. So, but she comes to terms with it, and in the end, she wakes up and she's got blue eyes. So, I mean, she's back to being her, or at least her. I think what it is like she's come to terms with the fractured soul is, rejoined, so to speak, and that's kind of it. But
So is it suggesting that he gave her back that part?
he did. I don't think.
No, I don't think he gave it back, but he helped her to accept that other part of herself. I
Right.
think is what it was.
Because when he's in there, she's like, "You don't know all this stuff," and he's like, "Oh, I don't," and he splits off into his Kyrian form.
Yeah.
So that she can see that, yes, he was fractured as well. He has gone through that. I don't know if she knows who he is. She has to know who Uther was because they were alive at the same time. Because Arthas killed
Yeah, but
Uther
they
first.
weren't allied at the same time, were they? The High Elves weren't part of the Alliance, so she might not know who he was.
But, but they would have had dealings with the humans at some point. I think she would know of him, if not necessarily know him.
Oh yeah, because that's where they were. I mean, they were right there because that's where
He brought
Lordaeron was in the.
No.
That's exactly where the Far Striders and stuff were operating in, wasn't it? And the Eastern Plaguelands is like the area that they were in at the time, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was near Lordaeron, but Uther wasn't. Well, I guess he was, but I don't know. They probably knew of each other, so to speak, right? And the fact that he kept calling her Ranger General, instead of Sylvanas or whatever, because that's like her soul up until the point that she got killed, like that's where it stopped. So she doesn't know anything else, at least that part of her.
Which I guess is why he's in his PvP gear.
Yeah.
Well,
Just in case.
he took her into the spot where he died. That's where he died. That's where, because that was where Arthas stabbed him, where he was, because you remember where you go through the thing and you go through Arthas's or Uther's memories,
Mhm.
and you're at that point where you're trying to bring Arthas back. He's trying to save Arthas, and it ends up with him getting killed. Like that was part of his, coming to terms with things. It's like, I shouldn't have. Sometimes there's a thing where you just like, you just got to stop it. And part of the, his guilt was he couldn't save Arthas, and Arthas killed him in that spot, in that center of that town. And is it Andorol or whatever?
Mm.
Whatever that one is. So he brought her into his like moment of the scar because he still had the wound. That's why he placed her hand on his wound, and he was taking her in. It's like, look, this is a similar thing. We both were fractured like that. So, I wonder if that means that anybody that's been killed by Frostmourne
Has a fractured soul.
well, so
I would think. Isn't that part of the thing? Doesn't it steal a part of your soul?
yes, but
Isn't that why we went back and got all those extra souls from
Yeah.
that one place?
yeah, he had the crystals in there, and that's where we got Uthers because they also had a bunch of other ones, and some of the names were pretty neat. Like one was like the Fallen King or something like that. I don't remember. That was probably Arthas's father, and all that
Mhm.
stuff and whatnot. So, yeah. So, let's see. Yeah, no, it was a pretty good cinematic, and I don't think that it really offers that much spoilers, especially if you kind of know what's going on overall. Because I mean, we kind of know what's happening. We're trying to go after what's his name. So this is probably going to be one of the first parts of the quest line when the expansion drops, because
I would expect so. I mean, after all that, after 9-1 ended, yeah, you
Well-
would think that would be the first thing that we
right,
figure
'cause
out.
how are we going to go to the new place if she doesn't tell us where he's going, kind of thing.
Mm.
It kind of makes sense that we need the information, and she's got it, which is why Uther's working to wake her up, so to speak. So, and it was crazy just seeing everybody's like, maybe she doesn't need to wake up. Just
Yeah.
And I'm like, leave her alone.
Of course you were.
I mean, I get
It's gonna be interesting though, because like from the character's perspective and how they were affected by what she did, like there's really no example of that sort of atrocity coming back. And like maybe Illidan? I don't know. But in the
But
end, like
Illidan
Illidan
didn't
was
really-
doing all the things that he needed to do,
Right.
right? In the right way. She didn't. Like so how do you how does the story come back from that? Is that what's going to keep the conflict going for the rest, you know what I mean, for the near future?
Right.
Is just the fact that she exists and she did all these terrible things,
well,
even though in the end, like, it's probably all stuff that had to be done eventually, right?
yeah,
If we
she's-
unravel his plans and all this other garbage or whatever Scooby-Doo bullshit's going to happen, then it was just supposed to happen at some point, and why not now rather than later? So
Well, that's the thing, though, too, is like this stuff may have been necessary, may not have been necessary. If she didn't do the things that she did, it's all tied to Azeroth somehow, right? So somehow he had to get his hooks on something in Azeroth, because I think he's going, because he mentioned something about the world's soul, right? And it's got to be, Azeroth. And, Azeroth, people have made the connection between Zereth Mortis, like Zereth as Zereth, like the roots are similar.
that's a bit of a stretch, but okay.
I mean, it is, but if you think about,
And Azeroth, and then there's more of whatever kind of sounds.
well, you
yeah,
got
that's it.
Zereth and Azeroth, it's like,
I know.
but if you think about,
I'm just saying.
it's called Zereth Mortis in like the language of the first ones, and then you got the Titan and then you got the other pantheons, and then you got the Titan Keepers. So I mean, where did the name come from? You know what I mean? Who actually named it? Why do we call it Azeroth? Kind of thing. Was it the Titan Keepers that called it that? Was it the Titans? So I mean, you can draw a direct line back to that stuff, because that's where that stuff would have come from language wise. But
Best case, it will at least highlight why Azeroth seems to be like the
focal point of every goddamn bad shit that happens.
exactly, yeah. Like I can make sense of the fact that the Warcraft, the game, is based on it because
It's where we live.
that's the story, right? But then we go through all this and then turn around, and in the end, like, why is all the focus on that? Why is the afterlife so focused on Azeroth being so special, right? Why was everything that this dude done, right, targeted to somebody on Azeroth rather than like when we know there's so much shit in the cosmos there, right? and we know this because of the storyline is telling us these people in the Shadowlands came from different areas. We've been to different places and Legion and the portals that pop up. You're right. We know other things exist. But like, I think it's probably will wind up owning in on why Azeroth is like, in particular, most likely the most special whatever thing in the cosmos.
Yeah, we know why Sargeras wanted to target it, because he went crazy and just wanted to kill all nascent world souls and destroy everything so that the Void couldn't have anything to do with, right? We know why he wanted to, but, you know, because there were the old gods, or the aspects of the old gods or whatever that were on Azeroth, so there was some corruption there already, and he was worried about that. But we know that because the Dreadlords or the Nathrazim are tied to Daenerys? No.
Denathrius.
Denathrius. Duh.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. I think I haven't made that mistake in a while. But, yeah, Denathrius, in that he was in league with the Jailer, it makes sense that the Dreadlords went to Ner'zhul, and that they took the armor of Domination and Frostmourne to Arthas. You know what I mean? It makes sense that all that stuff kind of went there, you know, and got to Azeroth because they were trying to do, you know, to work things that way. And the Dreadlords have been involved in everything. You had a Dreadlord with Sylvanas, you know, whether or not, I mean, because he did end up turning on her, because we had to fight him in the Battle for Undercity at was that Cataclysm? Was that one in Cataclysm where we had to go back and take it over from Veramathras?
Was that not Lich King?
Was it Lich King?
I don't remember.
I don't remember
I don't
either.
remember. Yeah.
It was somewhere in there.
But yeah, so, you know, there was that. So it makes me wonder about Balnazar. I think it's his name, but the one that's the light one that's with the Army of Light.
Mm.
Yep.
The glowy one.
Right.
Like, is he actually free of the influence from Denathrius, or is he still just doing his whole thing from a different angle?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, that hasn't been addressed at all.
Right.
Where are they? Where is he? Is he still at the Temple of Light or whatever the hell it was called? You know, floating around there? Or is he still trying to do some shit somewhere? You know, or is he like purified?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it. You know, I typically tend to avoid watching anything that's like super spoilery, but I mean, you kind of figured something like this was gonna happen anyway, because we don't know what happened when she got her soul back and all that stuff. And this just kind of you know, explains stuff. Doesn't say what's gonna happen, you know, but you obviously know that she's, you know, where people's feelings about her are.
It'll be interesting to read the book.
Yeah, we need
As
to
much
get
as I hate the fact that you have to go into a book to, you know, understand.
I think in this
characters'
case, it may
motivations.
actually be a lot better.
Yeah.
Because that, in my opinion, like, yeah, the story's going to be probably done
Yeah.
for the most part for Storylands and her big thing. So it would be more interesting to know more about what was going on in that time frame.
Yeah.
Now, the one between BFA and Shadowlands, I think was that, I don't know why that was book more so than not, because it should have been threaded into how the patches between
it should have been
the two
pre-patch
changed.
shit.
Yeah.
It should have been pre-patch shit. We should have went with Sylvanas to Arathi Highlands, you know what I mean? And witnessed it. That should have been an in-game event, you know?
Oh, plus the whole Alliance side and their like storyline with the what was it was somebody in SI7 and then
Matthias Shaw and Captain Flynn.
That storyline was great. Like their whole experiences and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, I know it's suggestive of I think there has been some conclusion of what's suggestive behind it, but regardless, like it's still wholesome and really good as far as like building up story with characters in the game. Why the fuck was it just in the book? Just make it a part of the world.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if this stuff is just going to be more so like a history thing, or maybe just some more of that internal conflict
Yeah.
that she has.
So I don't really care if they put things in a book as long as they make it available in the story in the video game as well. You know what I mean? Like they can expound upon it more in the book and you can get more context for it, but I wish that they would just start putting more stuff in the game so you see it also in the game. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like in her case. In her case, like again, like what we were talking about before, she did so much shit behind the scenes that like
Yeah.
was so confusing and like, you know what I mean? Even from the player perspective, when you're overly paying attention in the game, you're still missing lots of context there.
Did we
right?
see the stuff between like the Undercity and everything? That was the last book, right? Where they met with the humans and stuff. Did they do anything like that in the game?
No,
I don't
they
remember.
mentioned it a little bit.
But they didn't really.
Yeah, I think when
That was what's her name? Remember, that was
Kalia.
like a side thing.
Yeah, the thing
Yeah,
with
but one of the
Kalia and
Windrunners?
Sylvanas and where they met.
Marissa?
Huh?
Wasn't Marissa the one that led you onto those little side quests at the end of BFA?
there was one where I don't know. I don't remember.
Because you went out to one of those alliance zones, and I remember them talking like something about, was it Kalia? Is that what you said?
Mhm.
Yeah, the meeting with Kalia and the
Oh yeah.
where
But then like
Kalia
nothing ever
ran
come about
out.
that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it was in the book, like everything
Well,
that happened.
this was after the fact. The stuff that happened in the book was in Arathi Highlands,
Yeah.
where like Sylvanas killed all the undead.
Yeah.
That whatever,
Yeah.
and because she was purging anybody that would
Right.
broke her peace.
Yeah.
But no, there was a thing where like Jaina was talking to Kalia in it wasn't Borealis. It was in one of the zones over in the Alliance side.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also had the one where we went to, I think that was an Alliance only quest. I don't remember doing that on Horde. On the Horde side, we met with Kalia and some of the Night Elf undead that got raised at the Battle for Undercity to help them come to terms with it. So like we passed on a bunch of like the Night Elf Rangers that became undead to Kalia because she, I guess, had went through all this stuff after she got brought back in BFA. No, Legion. She got brought back at the end of Legion.
Yeah.
And so like one of the story things was, hey, here are these people that are having a hard time coming to terms with the fact that they're undead now. Help them out. So she's out there. There's this contingency of stuff, but like she showed up, I think, when we initially go into the Shadowlands, and she may even be in the Shadowlands in some of the like group things by the map. Like when you get some of the people back or talk to Bolvar.
Yeah, I haven't done anything Alliance.
No, she's there in
Side.
general, Horde
Yeah.
side.
Okay.
Because I think when Talia, because that's Bolvar's daughter, right? She's
Yeah.
there, I think, with Kalia. I think Kalia might be there too. I don't know, but it's like,
Talia and Kalia.
I mean, if that's even the right names, I don't know. But I don't know. It's interesting, and I really want to see. I think that's one of the things that they do well. Is there's a lot of good story things in there, and it's good to see that. Hopefully, this is going to be even better. Like if they can make some of the story stuff, bring it back in, make it more focused on like a single thread as opposed to like starting and going out into all the different covenants. Bring it back into a focused storyline and whatnot. And I think that's going to help, at least lore wise. So I don't know. I'm excited for just the story dump that's going to happen. So yeah, that was one of the big things from the PTR. This past Tuesday started the Legion time walking with Legion Dungeons, Legion time walking Mythic Keystones, and the Mage Tower. And the Mage Tower is a piece of shit.
Is it bad? Really?
So
It's been nerfed already.
they've already nerfed it. They've already tuned it.
because they made it so you can't use your Legion legendaries, which is ridiculous. I think that's stupid.
I don't know if that's an oversight because I don't know if they work in like the time walking dungeons if you have them equipped because they're considered legacy effects and so they're disabled. But when you go in there, and it fucking disables your covenant powers too.
Yeah, which is to me ridiculous because
you're taking out something that's
that you're in your class.
I'm surprised your covenant powers work at all when you're not in the Shadowlands.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, no, I mean. I would imagine that the soul binds and stuff all that stuff should still work because we're not bound to the Shadowlands. We're the Mawwalker, right? And we can come and go as we please, and it's bound to us. You know what I mean? Like our physical bodies are there, and we've received these powers and all that stuff. Because if you think about it, the Maldraxi have gone to different worlds, like when they were invading like those Legion planets to get the plans and all that stuff in the in Corona? No. Draka. And Draka is like cutscene.
Yeah, I mean, half that shit still doesn't make sense to me, but yes, I get what you're saying.
But I mean, the Nathrazim can leave the Shadowlands and go out into the mortal planes and still have their powers. You know, so I mean, it makes sense that we can still do that. But if you're gonna take away that stuff because you get all these buffs from your soul binds and all this stuff, and now if all that stuff is disabled. It changes your gameplay.
Right. That's the problem with borrowed power is if the classes underneath that borrowed power are bad or flawed and you take away that borrowed power, then you're making it very difficult. If you're propping them up with borrowed power, you need to go back and look at your classes. You know what I mean?
I don't think that it's necessarily propped up so much, but it's just everything gets scaled down and it's just like I'm trying to do like the Frost DK one, and it was a nightmare because they trap you in the thing of Razor Ice, and you got to kill the ice, and it's hard to target the ones in front of you, and all that stuff. If you don't have a burst to blow them down, you sit there and get hit by the Comet Storm, and all that stuff. And then you got to get out, and you got to like heal back up, and it's hard. But they nerfed a bunch of that stuff. They did nerfs for certain counters specifically. And then for individual
Guardian Druid one.
Well, they just reduced the health, I think, of some of the mobs there. They did that for DKs because blood DKs don't put out that much damage, you know? So it's as hard as it was before. You know what I mean?
Except for you can't rely on your legendaries or overgearing it to
I think you can.
Which is what you could do before.
Right.
And that's what made it doable for probably a good portion of people, which is frustrating.
You could technically go farm mythic level gear from Legion and wear that, and it shouldn't get scaled.
Mm.
So you can technically overgear it.
Yeah.
You can get stuff and put in Legion gems into it, you know, and buff yourself up, get, you know, Legion potions and all that stuff. All that stuff is still available to do that, and I think there's even recommended setups for that in you know, on Wowhead and whatnot. I've been trying to avoid looking at that kind of stuff. But they also extended the Mage Tower to the 4th of January.
Yeah, I'm still not going to do it.
So they added another 2 weeks to it. So that way, even though I think the time walking dungeons will be over, the Mage Tower will not. I was talking with a friend of ours that raids with us or whatever, and he plays a DK too, and we were talking yesterday, and he was looking at some of the recommendations. They suggested a different rune forge for the first half to get more health back and all that stuff, and he made it to the second phase, past the ice phase into the arcane phase of it, so and he's like, yeah, it feels better than it did before. So I don't know. It's
still not great, but better.
I mean, yeah, but it should be a challenge, right? Because it was before, and it was supposed to be. That's the intent of it. And I think that they definitely made it challenging for sure. And it's like, it's going to be a pain in the ass, but I'm probably going to sit down and try and do it. At least do that and try and get the werebear stuff.
Oh, yeah. Answer me this. So I didn't do the Mage Tower nowhere near as much. I kind of gave up really quick back in Legion because I'm a pansy. Um, can you get your transmog and the mount like just in this time frame, or is it like multi-piece or iterative to a point where you can't get it until it comes around again?
I would assume that when you complete the challenge, you get the full set transmog, right?
Because before Mage Tower was like every 6 days or 9 days or something like that? Wasn't it every 3 days it changed?
Yeah.
What came around on the
no.
island?
No, I don't think so.
Did you have to? Did you? You might have had to contribute supplies to it.
You could always go into the one that you were, because I only went to the Boomkin one for the longest time. There wasn't a choice where I could only go to.
No. I think what he's saying, like, it wasn't active all the time.
Oh yeah. It wasn't active.
I
all
think
the time.
initially it wasn't, and then towards the end they left it active all the time.
Yeah.
But right now it's just active.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and so I don't know. I mean, there probably are some people that can go through and get all of the appearances and get the mount
Oh, I'm sure.
already.
Like,
They probably have already
way
done it
Good people.
and stuff. But I think the sets come as a set. So like once you clear it, you have that set for that class for that challenge. And I don't know if you have to
For
do
that
it.
class, you have to do it. So you have to do all of them, right? You have to you have to do all the different. I thought you had to do all the different ones, all the different.
That gives you the mount.
That gives you the mount. So what gives? Because I was watching a Boomkin person who was doing like the other things, the other ones. Like, so she did the Healy one, and then she was going to do the Guardian one, and she must have already done the Boomkin because. And she said she got something for that one, but she didn't get anything for doing the healing one, for clearing the healing one.
I don't know. I would assume that maybe it's class specific for the.
That's what I'm saying. She was the same class. She did the Boomkin one,
Right.
and
I
then
don't.
she did
I
the
don't
healing
know.
one, and she got something for the Boomkin one, I guess, but she didn't get anything for the healing one. I don't know. I kind of came into it late because she was working on progress for the healing one when I started watching her. So, I might be not. That might not be correct. Somebody can let me know if you know.
No, it looks like. Let's see. They are. It just looks like you just get a set for a class. So there's only one set for each class.
Right, and do you only have to do one?
I would assume that you only have to do one of them to get the thing, because I can't imagine that you would have to do
All of them.
all of them to fill out the thing. I would assume that you just get the
What
set.
do the sets look like?
They're recolors or reskins of the tier 21 or tier 20 Tomb of Sargeras.
I don't remember which one that one was. That was a reskin of something else, wasn't it? Can you link it?
Tier 6 reskin.
Oh,
wasn't
it was a tier 6 reskin? Okay.
It's not tiers.
I already have so many of those effing reskins.
Black
I
Temple?
do not need any more. Black Temple, yeah.
Well,
Tier
I mean,
6.
for you classes that, existed then, because,
Okay, yes, that's fair.
Okay.
because Death Knights didn't
That's right.
have that. It looks like it's similar to some of the stuff that you wear currently on your Boom King, because I think
Yeah,
the mask
it
is the
is.
same.
Yeah. No, my mask I use is the
The shifting
is
one.
the mythic one. Yeah, from
So this
Legion.
one looks like it has shoulders that have like antlers on them, like ghost ghost heads.
No, I know which one. Which one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the tier 6. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Tier 6 20 reskin.
Yeah, because there is a bazillion reskins of it. Absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
there's one
Yeah.
for each. Because, it was the Sargeras stuff, right? So it was, they have the normal version, the LFR version, the mythic version, the heroic version,
Right.
So there's already a bazillion reskins of it. So it's like, why do I need another one?
Because it signifies that you did the Mage Tower again. Yay.
Yay! I already did it once. I got the weapons. I'm good.
But I don't know.
I don't need that stress in my life a second time.
It's,
You know?
I mean,
That's why I was so mad they put the Guardian stupid thing in there. I don't need that stress in my life a second time.
I don't know. It's something to do, right? And
You're gonna wind up getting it before it leaves.
I'm
You know
not.
it.
I'm not. I'm too busy playing Final Fantasy.
No, that's
the
fair.
X Pack just launched, so there's no way I'm logging in to play WoW during this time when I have so much stuff to do in Final Fantasy. It's just not happening.
whatever.
Story's amazing.
That's great.
Story's amazing.
It's fantastic.
So good.
No, the story is good. I just haven't got to it yet.
Yeah, the story is really good.
But
It's a very good story.
I mean, but the Mage Tower stuff is definitely something that, it is not something you can just, it's not something that most people can just walk into in one shot and be done.
Yeah.
So it is going to take practice because you got to get used to,
yeah, you've got to get the phases
you
down.
got to get used to the phases. You got to know what you're going to do when.
Yeah.
You have to make, because like, it's easy to want to go in and start just blow all your cooldowns and whatnot and just try to
That's what I do.
kill the guy. And it's just like, yeah, that doesn't work because then you don't have stuff for later. And it's just like, it sucks because there was some of the stuff that like reduced cooldowns of certain things.
No.
And like that doesn't.
I know what you mean because I cheesed the Boomkin one, or not the Boomkin one, the Guardian one, because I didn't use the recommended stuff for it, right? So of course at the end of the X Pack we weren't rating Mythic, but we were rating Heroic, so I did outgear the stuff.
No,
But-
we were doing Mythic.
Oh, we were doing a little bit of Mythic. You're right. But anyway, I outgeared the stuff, and I used, so there was, specific legendaries that they recommended that you use to do the Guardian one. And I didn't. I used like the Fury of Elune cloak or whatever that increased your Moonfire ability or whatever. I can't even remember exactly what it was, and I'm not going to log in and check. But anyway, I cheesed the first part of that fight by just moonfiring the guy and running around and like moonfiring all the other ads and stuff and avoiding the infernals and stuff. Like I cheesed it so hard. Like, and I went, I think, Boomkin, affinity. And yeah, it was like, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
And
just,
I don't think you would be able to do that now because you don't
No.
have the access to, so it would be.
it's going to take a little bit of, for me at least, experimenting with some different talent setups and whatnot, and just give it a try, and maybe read up on the phases again, and just kind of see where things are, and it's just it's something to do. It gets frustrating if you don't make any progress, obviously. And when I was first doing it, I was away on work, and I was doing working on a laptop. So, like, I don't have my nice big wide screen, so
Yeah.
everything's real small, and I'm just like,
Can't
oh, this
see
is
anything.
horrible.
Yeah.
So it was, like, really frustrating for that. But, it's, just kind of, like, going and trying it a couple times a day, get used to it, make a little progress in it, and I think that that's going to be the way it works for me, go through and do it. And since it's one set per class, I don't have to do all three
Right.
specs. So I guess maybe I could go do Unholy, because when I did Unholy back when it was Legion, I walked in there not knowing what the hell was going on and one-shot it. So
Yeah.
So-
the glories of being overgeared and
I don't think I was
I
not
mean, I had an
overgeared.
experience like that. I walked into it and got one-shotted. So,
Yeah, okay.
and I didn't go back and do it again.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. But it's just like, so I guess maybe I need to not be trying to necessarily do it on my main spec, so to speak, as opposed to just actually trying to just get the set, because really the ultimate goal isn't necessarily, because you're not getting anything for each individual spec anymore. So, you just get it done. And once you get all 7 appearances, I think, or once you beat all 7 encounters,
you should get the book.
you get the mount. So just maybe finding the easiest path for that. So
Right, because different different specs are a little bit better at specific ones, right? So, yeah. It'll be way too much work for me.
Yeah.
I don't care enough to do it now. I cared in Legion because,
Well,
I played so much in Legion that,
Yeah.
but now I'm just like,
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Yeah, so that's the Mage Tower. I don't know what else. I mean, the dungeons were just pretty much stupid. Oh, God.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, too, because they don't have Moss Souls, so...
No, yeah.
Fuck.
I got into one, and it was Court of Stars. And... No, the dungeon's fine.
No, I just remember your heroic moment.
We walked into there, and this is the one that's got like the little guard pillars that they go when they try to activate some. So you got to like just So we did the first one, kept them from doing it, whatever, deactivated it, and there's like a little bridge thing, and there's a bunch of packs in there. So we have a warrior tank, and he thinks he's slick, and he heroic.
Is this you healing?
No, I was on.
I asked the same thing.
Oh hell no!
Okay.
I would have dropped that group. If not after this, after the second event, and we'll get to that. So he decides he's gonna heroic leap over all the mobs to the next beacon tower, and start fighting stuff. And I'm like, the hell are you doing? I'm like, nobody else here has anything like that. So now we have to run through all the mobs. So I just ran through everything and just, threw up a bomb limb and all that stuff and pulled everything over and whatnot. And we burned it down, and that's fine, right? So I'm like, you're an idiot. What the hell? I'm like, why would you do that? It's like, I get nobody's probably done these dungeons in forever, but why would you?
Everything is AoE pull.
But why would you leap over everything that doesn't get pulled and just leave everybody else behind? And I'm just like, what?
That was really dumb.
Then we go over the next bridge, and he clears out the trash right there. And instead of going to all the individual towers, there's beacons down there, and clearing it, he just pulls the boss right there.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck? And he's summoning things, and so like I'm just burning stuff down, and then everybody dies except for me, and I'm just sitting there, death striking. The boss had to have like 20% health left or something like that. And I just sat there and killed the boss. And I'm just like, good God, I can't wait for this to be over. And then it was okay after that, because nothing else was really like that, didn't need that much strategy behind it, I guess you could say. But it was awful.
Frustrating.
It was. And it was just like, and it was also, I could get, another 226 piece of gear that I already had,
Yeah, shocker.
I don't think there's really anything left to get that's,
Was that Mythic then?
No, it was time walking.
Okay. What does Mythic drop then?
The time or the Mythic Plus ones?
Yeah, whatever.
I would assume that
Is there no Mythic? Is there no Mythic 0 of time walking then?
I don't know, because you can talk to the guy by the vault or whatever, and he'll give you a stone. And I don't know if you have to do the time walking to go in and put the stone in, or if you just go in and put a mythic time walking stone in to the normal thing.
Oh, that's weird.
I don't know how it works, because I haven't done it, because I got nobody to do anything with it. So,
well,
no, it's not. Oh, it's just
nobody's playing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody's playing 5 minutes.
Oh. Yeah. Nah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really think there's much else going on out there. I don't know if you guys have heard of anything.
Spoilers galore, but we can't talk about that. So.
I haven't heard any spoilers because I avoid that stuff. So
yeah, I haven't either.
Ooh, there's a good one. There's a juicy one that's only 30-something seconds.
I do actually know a spoiler, which apparently was just a spoiler for me, but apparently everybody knows about now or something like that. But I know a spoiler.
Spoiler alert?
I mean, I can share it. You guys probably know it, but I don't know if Jim wants to know.
Is it something I don't want to know?
I don't know that it matters. I don't think it's not a Sylvanas one.
Okay.
Okay. Pelagos is going to be the next Arbiter. Apparently.
Oh yeah.
Is he like the guy that's like the first Kyrian dude we run into?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one you have to save from his memories or whatever, or those unbidden. I don't know what they are. I don't remember, but it was a long time
Did he
ago.
become a Forsworn? Is he one of the ones that talked to Uther
I don't remember.
and became a Forsworn?
Literally do not remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think that was that Nico guy or something
Oh.
like that, maybe. I don't know. But Pelagos apparently is going to become the new Arbiter.
Oh.
I saw, that was what I was talking about the other day. I was like, oh, whoops, I saw something that I didn't.
Oh.
I accidentally saw it, and
I mean,
was
that
like,
kind of
oh.
it probably makes sense.
I don't
out of
really
all the
care,
characters there.
But that was why I was asking about the Arbiter. Remember, I was talking. I was asking about
Oh,
the
you're
Arbiter.
like, your Arbiter's gone? I'm like, did you not remember that they,
I don't
one, it wasn't a person anymore.
I don't remember.
Two, they took the sigil out of it. It was a construct, and so.
Yeah, I did not remember.
I don't know. I really don't care as long as it's not Sylvanas, because that would just be kind of like too much of a fucking, hitting the same notes that they did with fucking Illidan. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, that's true. I didn't think about that, but I think initially I thought for sure probably Sylvanas might have a good running to be the Arbiter, but it didn't work out that way. I will say there is another spoiler out there, and I think it's fairly recent, within a few days, a day, I don't know.
I'm curious.
That is very much like sums up it doesn't sum up the expansion. It suggests summing it up. So
Oh, I'm curious. What is it?
I can't tell you.
Oh, I want to know.
It's like it's a pretty massive
Okay,
spoiler
I don't care.
unraveling, I guess.
I care.
Okay, you know what?
You guys can
Tell
have
me-
you guys can have a
No, you
conversation
can
later.
find it. It's actually it's on Wildhead. It's close to the top too.
Oh, that means she has to
It's-
actually go look at
I have
things.
to go look at things WoW related.
Oh, you'll
I don't
find it
have
pretty quick.
time to do that. God damn it.
Well, then you'll forget that it's even out there
I
until
will.
it happens. So just don't even worry about it.
I will forget.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Hey, there's no spoiler. Don't worry about it. Just play your Final Fantasy.
It's so good.
Is that the spoiler? Is that we're crossing over into the Final Fantasy universe?
Oh my god.
We're gonna go.
We're gonna
now.
work together.
We're gonna go raid.
You're gonna read
Ooh,
Final
ooze.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
You're gonna read the primals and yeah.
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 All right. Well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up here.
That should be our title. WoW raids Final Fantasy.
Eh.
It's very clickbaity.
Yeah. Kind of like our last title.
Oh, what's that?
Never trust a duty.
Oh.
That was a good one. I like that.
That
But
was
anyway,
good, yeah.
anyway, thanks everybody for listening. You can check us out at facebook.com/server restart in. Shoot us a tweet at server_restart. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.